Hi, and welcome to the SEO Podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing. My name is Chris Burris, one of the owners of eWeb Results.
My name is Matt Bertram, another one of the owners of eWeb Results.
Welcome back to another fun-filled edition of our podcast. If you're watching this podcast, you might have noticed that there's something a little different. You know what it is? It's Matt and I, we switched positions.
That's it.
He was on the left, and then I was on the right, and then now we're also seated.
We're seated as well.
So we're seated. We're in white leather chairs.
And where's the TV screen?
There's no TV screen behind us. There's a brick wall and then a wall.
There's a fake plant.
It is a fake plant.
Yeah.
We're in our new location.
Woo!
Yeah, we are excited that we're in our new location. It's been a long process, a long time coming. I don't even know when the first time we mentioned it on the podcast was. It was a long time ago. And the team's excited and growing.
Always takes longer.
It always takes longer than planned on. So we're so excited you have joined us here at this new location. If you,
what's the address, Chris? I'm waiting for the end and the address.
The address. I'm going to still say that we were filmed at the other location because that will continue to be an eWeb Results location.
Well, we weren't filmed there. That's just another location.
Don't give it away.
If this is your first podcast, you don't know what we're about to do because we don't either.
Yeah, we're making
this is a new format.
All up. Well, we are broadcasting live in Houston, Texas, and Matt and I, we are your Results Rebels. I don't have a review today, so we're going to ask you, because each week we have a contest, and that contest works this way. If we get a review and we get 10 shikos,
a share, a like, and a follow.
By the way, when you share or you like us or you follow us, you should hear in your head, you should hear shikow, because that's the noise that that it makes. If we get 10 shikos and we get a review, then we kind of push the process of telling you how to connect with us and all that to the end of the podcast. Today, we don't have a review, so we're just going to tell you, you can leave us a review by going to ewebresults.com/G+. Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were going to do all of them.
You want to do all of them? So you can also connect with us.
I'm just having a good time here.
And leave a review for us on Facebook, facebook.com/
eWeb Results.
Yes, twitter.com/
eWeb Results.
Instagram.com/
eWeb Results.
And then there's LinkedIn, which is actually LinkedIn.com.
YouTube is different. It's eWeb Results /YouTube, right?
Oh, yes. Wow. You have a good memory because we haven't done this in a while. Connect with us on YouTube, which is, by the way, where you would actually be able to watch this podcast.
You can see us.
If you're on YouTube, share and follow and subscribe and all that good stuff. That's going to be ewebresults.com/.
And we should turn the camera around and face our new full-time videographer, Ivan.
Hello. Or Yvonne, depends on who you're talking to. By the way, when I call him Yvonne around the office, everyone's like, is that a new employee? No, it's Ivan. It's the same Ivan.
Look, we can see ourselves. This is awesome.
That is pretty cool. All right, so ewebresults.com/G+, and you can leave us a review. And yes, we're still using G+, even though G+ is going bye-bye.
So we might change that, but I like G+ is easy.
I don't think we're going to get much easier. It's not going to be Google
GMB.
My business.
Please go to GMB.
Yeah, so we're not going to do that. Hey, if this is the first podcast you're listening to,
we're sorry.
Howdy. We're sorry. Welcome. Howdy. We're going to get into the meat of the podcast soon. This is called the potatoes of the podcast. If you've listened to this podcast before, then we're happy you're back, right? I've already talked about it.
Yeah, well, we've had to kind of sporadically do these over the last few weeks, so they've been a little spread out. We're going to try to get them a little more consistent.
Yep.
We're also going to be really ramping up the content. Really, 80% of all searches next year are going to be video searches.
Video!
Yeah. So we're going to be producing a lot of videos.
That's why we hired 2 people.
So you might have been missing us for a while.
We missed you too.
And we missed you too.
Yeah.
But we're back and we're going to be around more.
It is that simple. Hey, if you're interested, look, I'm wearing a lovely shirt here. You can see in the picture.
Me too.
It's the SEO results.
What does PTIF stand for, Chris, for new podcast members?
Punch in the face. And it's a good thing. I wouldn't even know what episode you'd have to go back to in order to find out the first reference to punch in the face. A punch in the face is a very good thing. If you'd like a t-shirt like mine or like Matt's, you can get that t-shirt by going to ewebresults.com/ Swag. There you go.
I knew. I was like, t-shirt.
You look like a deer in the headlights.
I was,
just
but then I knew it when it was.
You came
I just needed
right
1
back.
second.
All right, so we are actually going to talk about an article today. How ready are businesses for voice search, right? Because everyone's talking about voice search. Voice search is clearly important. We know you have done a voice search. Well, almost all of you have done a voice search.
50% of people.
50% of people have not done a voice search?
No, have done a daily voice search.
Daily voice search, right. I think almost everyone, I think even my mom has tried a voice search before. So yeah, I think everybody's done that. So we're going to jump into that article. That article is by Kimberly Collins. Punch in the face to you, Kimberly Collins. Have I missed anything from the beginning? Does it feel like? I feel like we covered everything.
We covered what we wanted to cover.
In the potatoes of the podcast.
So if we didn't cover anything, we'll cover it next time.
We'll cover it next time.
Yeah.
This is the meat of the podcast. Yes, the meat of the podcast. Kimberly Collins is providing the meat of the podcast. Punch in the face to you, Kimberly. And again, the study, how ready are businesses for voice search? So this is interesting. I told Matt when I chose this article that I kind of hate this article and I kind of love this article because it kind of proves something that I've been thinking in the back of my head for a long time, right? So people are like, oh, voice search, you gotta get ready. Are you ready for voice search? Hey, you gotta be ready for voice search. Be ready for voice search. And in my head, I'm like, the voice search isn't that much different than when people do a search. Yes, there's some linguistic differences. We all know that Google has the capability of translating those linguistic differences to the standard kind of search that you would do. And so here's an article. It says, "Is your business ready for voice search?"
And if any of you are former podcast listeners, which we know there's a lot of you out there, know Chris has a disdain for voice search, and that I have a little bit different opinion about voice search, which we might get into.
Okay, so let's be very specific here. I love voice search. I use voice search regularly. It's how I prove things to my children who do not believe me when I'm saying stuff.
Like you're a ninja.
Like I'm a ninja.
That's not true.
We had to pull up the definition of a ninja to actually prove that one. It's just the thought process and how important and how different voice search actually is. So there's a nuance there, and I think on that we would probably disagree a little bit. Right? That adds value to if we thought exactly the same about everything, then one of us should leave.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point. Yeah, you gotta.
Okay. All right. So, how ready are businesses for voice search? And they actually analyzed 73,000 businesses. That's a good
size study.
I would agree. Yeah. And it was across different kind of sizes of business: small to medium-sized business, mid-market businesses, and then enterprise businesses. So, really good segments of the business. And this is what they looked at. They looked at a number of factors, including accuracy of address, business hours, phone number, name, website, and zip code, as well as accuracy across various voice search directories. So if you've done search engine optimization for very long...
Sounds a lot like NAP listings to me.
It sounds kind of like NAP, right? It's got the name, address, and phone number
and website. NAP,
and then at different directories. That feels...
One NAP.
Exactly the same. So this is kind of my point.
Wanapo. That's what we should call it. Website, name, address, phone number, opening hours.
I like it. Wanapo. Done. Somebody add that to our glossary. Wanapo. So this is my point. Is as they're kind of assessing whether businesses are ready for voice search, what they're doing is seeing if their NAP is actually Wanapo is actually accurate. So let's dive into this. Are your businesses ready for voice search? Over 96% of all business locations fail to list their business information correctly. This is exactly like we've been saying about NAP, and we call it just SEO local.
Wanapo.
Right? Wanapo, thank you. You're going to have to correct me one more time on that, and then I'm going to give up. Or maybe you'll give up. More than 90...
No.
Good. More than 90%...
I just branded a new word.
Do you need a little TM reference to Matt Bertram on that?
That's a Wikipedia reference right there.
In other words, more than 96% of all business locations fail to list their business information correctly. We have always talked about Wanapo, and where you have to have your name, your business address, and your phone number have to be exactly the same. And when we say exactly the same, you have an example of like how exactly the same?
Well, if you have street spelled out, you have ST. You don't have it there. Apartment, suite.
Yep.
Like if you have a pound sign in front of like the suite, like that's one of the good things. We're like the whole 5th floor. So
yeah.
I don't know if we really have a suite.
Yeah. Well, we can't. We have multiple suites. Like
we actually have multiple suites. Yeah.
So exactly. Yeah. If it's got a pound sign in one of your listings and it doesn't have a pound sign in another listing, the survey says, and that one fails.
Or if you have the LLC after your name, like everything needs to be consistent because Google is looking for consistency. And why are they looking at it? Because they can trust. If that says it this way, this is likely that thing. So Google, that's one of the kind of factors that it looks at is, and that's why I like to use when like images, I know kind of a little side note, I like to use GPS coordinates because what is more like this is accurate than GPS coordinates. So from an accuracy standpoint, that's what Google likes to see.
Sometime when I'm using Waze or even Google Maps, it feels like the GPS coordinates are a little bit off. Like
I've seen that too.
Yeah. It's a little.
I just moved to like a new
office.
That too. Yeah, I've been out of pocket, guys.
This has been the move.
I've been
weeks.
The last 2 weeks, moved personally, moved professionally, but moved to a new development.
Yeah.
And the street's not on Google yet.
So
so I'm working with the builder to get us. So you can actually find us.
Well, that's kind of important. And you can use, I don't know if you use Waze. Waze will actually allow you to construct roads. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I
actually, when I was out in California, everybody uses Waze.
Yeah.
No one looks at anything else. I am old school and I'm still using Apple Maps.
Oh, Apple Maps.
Yeah. I like Apple Maps.
Didn't you suffer like when Apple switched off of Google or something and then it was like ludicrously bad or something?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't have like a crackberry, but
if I could, I would. All right, so the 4 most common types of listing errors, right? So this is just kind of interesting because there's a total that they mentioned they were searching for of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of information, and they're only giving the 4 most common types of errors. One was opening hours, next was website, next was location, and next was street map. By the way, probably the way they researched this article was to go to one of those, SEO local applications and type in all these businesses in the SEO application.
Well, I feel like this study is really relevant, but it was pretty easy to execute.
Yeah.
Right? You could even go scrape a bunch of these. And so, I feel like we need to have some eWeb case studies coming out shortly here.
Yeah.
We have capabilities to do that now. So
I think that's a good idea. I think, and just to be clear, I'm not like poo-pooing the person who wrote this article and the information they put together. It's the whole kind of excitement about voice search and how.
Well, I mean, some of the things that this article did talk about that I thought was quite interesting was dentists, health foods, home improvement, criminal attorneys.
Yep.
Okay, and dollar stores were the absolute most correct addresses.
Most accurate, yeah.
But then, business attorney, so also attorney, but a business attorney, not accurate. Customer protection organizations, not accurate. Interesting. Yep. Congressional representatives, not unheard of that they don't want you to find them. Art galleries, and then wedding services. You would think that wedding services, you would want to know.
Well, it depends on the service.
Yeah.
Probably depends on the service.
Well, a lot of them come to you, maybe.
If you think about a photographer or a DJ, most of them are probably
out of their house or something like that. Yeah.
Right. It may not be. So that kind of makes sense. If it said wedding venues.
Congressional representatives, explain that one.
You did. They don't want you to find them, to physically find them. They just want you to vote for them. That's all they're looking for. So yeah, that's good.
So I mean, this study, I actually read this study somewhere else. Voice will be 50% of all searches by 2020.
So we got voice and video, right?
Yeah, voice and videos. Well, okay. Those statistics, I guess, would compete and come from different areas. I guess how you look at it.
Yeah.
But really, there's a whole new swath of searches.
Yeah.
Right. So are we talking about text searches?
Right.
Or are we talking about
voice,
and so Google? Here's something crazy. So Backlinko has like a whole what is it called? It's called a definitive guide on voice search,
Yep.
right? And he talks about Google not being a search engine, but an answer engine, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because you're not searching for it, you're just asking Google for an answer.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's really changed how people are doing searches, right? So you got, faster searches, faster answers. It's more convenient. And like, really, how has it changed? Well, the searches are becoming more, like, we use the word long tail. Searches are becoming more conversational, as you kind of briefly touched on.
You have a different, I'm cheating on your sheet. You have a different article than me.
I had supplement articles.
I feel like this is not fair. I'm glad we're adding value, and I'm like, I don't have that.
So here's a fact.
All right.
The growth in near me now searches has gone up by over 150% over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Here's some other interesting statistics.
Yeah.
But really, I thought it would be good to
By the
add...
way, he just handed me all the statistics that he just mentioned. So
No,
now
I did not. Those are new statistics.
There's
a lot of people listening here
So
that didn't know that I just tried to help you out. I circled the data points.
I would agree. Yeah. Here's one. 65% of Google Home and Amazon Echo owners can't imagine going back.
Isn't that interesting?
So I'm going to add an interesting statistic.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that 60% of my Amazon questions are, what's the weather like? Because my son asks in the morning, my daughter asks in the morning, my wife asks in the morning, and I probably ask twice because I'm like, what's the first weather now? And then, oh wait, I didn't really pay attention to the temperature later in the day. So then I ask again.
Well, you've seen like Alexa and the Dot being on and like picking up some like crazy things.
Yeah.
This technology's here.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not going anywhere. And really the thing about voice search, why voice search is so important, right? And this is kind of a little bit of antithesis to what you're talking about.
Right.
Map listings, so the Google local listings are really, there's a Bright Local study and it's really cannibalizing organic search.
Right.
Well, where are the opportunities? Okay, maps, huge opportunity in maps. So there's three choices, right? Like the 3-pack or what a snack pack or whatever.
Yep.
Okay, well, in voice search, how many searches are you getting? One. Okay, so you really need to be that business if you're surrounded by 10 other tire companies or pizza companies or restaurants, or if they're looking for you the closest or nearby or all those searches. And really how the search has changed, which I think's super interesting. For example, let me see if I can find it. I might have handed it to you. But for example, the natural language searching, you would type to make home brew at home, make cold brew. Okay. Right? That's what you would type. Well, now you type, hey Google, how do you make cold brew at home? ? Right? So it is optimizing for...
It's different, right? It is a little bit different.
So really, we've started to optimize for near me, nearby, the different locations. Really, one of the terms that I haven't optimized for yet is like, hey Google.
Right.
Because... how the algorithm works, and they're going to maybe put different weightings on these different things, but right now, Google's looking at the words you search for and trying to give you the best answers for that. So when you optimize for location or you optimize for the term or the theme that you're ranking for, you gotta take that into consideration.
Yeah.
And I know we got another call here coming up, so I know we need to wrap up.
Yeah.
But I kind of, when we talk about voice search, we talk about how it's either important or not important, but how. But I wanted to explain like why it's changing and where it's going.
Well, and I think there's a couple things. So you, and I've heard you mention this before, and it's very true that there's one result. Now that's on a Google Home device, that's on Alexa device, even asking Siri. And I think when you're talking about search, when they answer that one question, right? So if it's a home device, whether it's Alexa or Google Home, there is no credit. Think about that, right?
Yeah.
So even if the one answer is provided by you, and by the way, in my opinion, Google does a much better job of giving you one answer. Alexa doesn't know. Alexa's kind of dumb relative to Google in the sense of answering kind of abstract questions.
My mom's friend was the designer on that. But,
Yeah?
But thank you.
Yeah. Does she watch the podcast? Why not? We can go back and forth like that. So yeah, when you're talking about answering questions, if it answers it verbally, it gives no one credit. So that's one thing to keep in consideration.
Well, you can tie in your name, right?
Yeah.
The brand name into your answer.
Yes,
So
that's a smart decision.
That's something to think about.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And it's also different on a phone. So if you're asking, hey Google, and you ask a question, you get the one answer often, and then you're on a search result page, right? I think it's the same with Siri.
So the knowledge graph, the answers.
No, yeah.
that was
my
not
phone
planned.
just trying to answer that question.
On the knowledge graph, the searches on the knowledge graph have dropped, and they do at least give a citation of who came up with that answer. So I think the bottom line here, because I know we're trying to wrap up, is that everything is continuously changing, and you really want to stay on top of those changes, so you need to be listening to this podcast.
Yeah, because we bring you the latest and greatest information.
Yeah.
Even if it's not necessary, like doing different searches for voice search. All right, so that is wrapping up our podcast. Clearly, from from what we discussed going back and forth, there's a lot of value in understanding voice search and keeping moving in that direction and adjusting your optimization practices, right?
Yeah.
I think that's clear. I also think that the most important thing, and we'll continue to say this, have always said this, in terms of SEO, step one, SEO local, NAP listings, or WNAPO listings. That's step one. So,
well, I think even goes back to something that you say all the time, is that you got to think about the end user and providing value for the person that's searching, because that's what Google's about, is giving the best possible answer to keep those people continuing to use Google and keep coming back so they can eventually charge. Okay, and so, but there's always going to be a place for organic. You hear SEO dies, all the time.
Link bait.
Right, but it's always going to change. And so you just
bait.
really need to stay on top of it and know what's happening. There's a lot you can do with your local listings, with maps. We've been testing out a bunch of different things that are working really, really effectively. It's actually a different search engine. So you got universal search that wraps organic search. It's pulled in YouTube and all the videos. You got the shopping ads, and so really universal search. But that search engine is something different. If you haven't yet, you should log into your Google My Business listing, because hopefully all you out there have already set that up.
Yeah.
And really take a look at the insight section inside your Google My Business and look at it. It's like your own Google Analytics for your maps. And there might be some things in there you see of things you can do. You want to maximize all your pictures, videos. You want to categorize and tag them correctly. Make sure they're labeled properly. You want to fill out all your services. You can add little blogs in there. You can actually build a little website, leave a little teaser for later. But we've been doing some really cool stuff with that website. I get a debate from a lot of different SEOs of, does that affect your rankings? And I have some definitive data on that, but that I'll share. But yeah, so just know that things are changing. You need to stay with what's new. And if Google offers a new service, check it out, because it'll usually be free, and then you'll have to pay for it. I mean, same thing with like Facebook Live. Facebook Live, the algorithm was tweaked to really show it. On some of these other social media platforms, like Instagram TV, there's a lot that you want to do to kind of ride that wave and stay in front of it. And we can keep you up to date on what that is.
Excellent. So make sure you subscribe and follow or shakaw us. If you're looking to grow your business with the largest, simplest marketing tool on the planet,
the internet,
call eWeb Results for increased revenue in your business. Our phone number is 592-6724.
That hasn't changed.
If you've got a referral for it, our location has, the background has, we're seated.
You could still find Chris and a few others, stragglers back at the old location. Got another business there that took over that spot.
Yes.
So,
they kind of took it over instantly.
There was a chalkboard behind the coffee maker on the day we moved out.
Oh, yeah.
Like they just were like, we're putting in our own style.
No, the coffee maker improved too.
I just feel like
if you have a referral, that's anybody who's interested in any aspect of internet marketing, you send them to us, they pay their bill, we pay you or donate to charity. That's an ongoing month-over-month service where we've got referral partners who are generating revenue month over month so that you can do that with us. We were filmed live here at do you know the address here? I don't know.
It's like 1315.
It's
Northwest
105, 11105, 13105. I think it's 13105. That's what I'm going to go with. Northwest Freeway, Suite 500, Houston, Texas 77040. I do know that piece.
And we're going to have a grand opening. Is it May 13th?
Yes.
May 13th.
No. Is it June?
June 13th.
June
13th.
June 13th.
Whatever's a Thursday, the May is a Monday, I think. So June 13th, we're actually going to have a grand opening for all you out there that listen to the podcast. If you're
Come by.
June
13th.
We're going to have a party. We're going to send out invitations. If you're interested, message us. We have 30,000 square feet, so we're not going to run out of room. We'll figure out what the festivities will be, food, drink, music, whatever. But it's gonna be great. So if you're interested, reach out to us on our Facebook page. Let us know, and we'll give you the details.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah. Well, this has been another amazing podcast. You guys have made us the most popular internet marketing podcast on iTunes. You can get transcript, video, or audio of this podcast at our website, ewebresults.com. Until the next podcast, my name is Chris Burris.
My name is Matt Bertram.
Bye-bye for now.
Highbrow, tamely, gamely, headed my way. Cool as mountain snow, girl, glow, girl, pining, shining, needing some play. Where have you been all my life? Something pure yet so refined. I'm gonna find my gold mine. I think she's gonna set me free. In my daydream, she's my fantasy.